In this present moment, you're thinking from the end, not about the end.
When I am living in the moment, I am more joyful.
How many likes is my life worth? Comparison is the death of joy. Meaning, how do you create if you're always trying to be like somebody else? And if I'm coming from a place of how can I serve, not what's in it for me, the videos are always more successful.
Welcome back to another episode of Creators Uncut. I'm super excited for another episode. Today I'm here with Billy Mandarino. Billy, thanks for being on the show.
Spencer, my honor. I'm inspired to serve your community and have a great conversation with you today.
Yeah, so like we always do, we like to get to know our guests. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and also about your channel and what kind of videos you make?
My name is Billy Mandarino, and I wrote a book that came out in 2018 called The Now-ist. And it helps people live in the present moment as a way of life. I don't know about you, Spencer, but stress and overwhelm and anxiety seems to be kind of at an all-time high. And back when 2018 occurred, we didn't have the pandemic. I've been incredibly busy helping people learn how to get out of overwhelm, stress, and anxiety. So I think my channel has grown in the last couple of years so much because I think the world feels a lot of stress and anxiety. I'm looking for ways to get out of it. So my teaching is a simple teaching about how to use the present moment as the most powerful part of your day and how to use techniques within the present moment to bring, like more viewers and more subscribers and more attention to your channel. That's my mission.
Yeah, that is definitely something we need today. I definitely know I feel the stress in the world today. So with everything going on, but that's awesome. So your videos, are they like tutorials or like inspirational or like, I guess what kind of videos are they?
So our content is largely inspirational, but it's also technical in the sense that it gives you strategic takeaways and strategies and modalities and ways of getting out of stress in your busy day. Most people have so many things to do. They have their to-do list. They have relationship issues. They have, all kinds of stress that life brings you. So I've
Mhm.
got, I did a series for a couple of years called 1 Minute in the Now. It was like 1 minute in the now. And that was really popular because it helped people in 1 minute. As you know, in this bite-sized community culture where we're looking for kind of instant gratification or instant information, I
Yeah.
was doing that way back in 2018 and 19, kind of before I guess it became super trendy. But now the content that we are providing is more production-based videos that have like B-roll and a nice arc to the videos. And I think that's why they're also doing well is because people also want the content. They want to see a storytelling type of video. So we're kind of a story. We tell a lot of stories within my life, other people's life, clients that I work with, and how they've used the Now-ist principles to help themselves get out of stress.
Gotcha. Cool. That's awesome. So, every YouTuber has kind of a different journey, but how did you actually get started into YouTube? Did someone kind of persuade you to do it, or did you kind of have the idea yourself? Love to hear that story.
That's a great question because, I know you serve YouTubers, and I think out of all the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, I think YouTube is the best platform, and you can just see
Yes.
the efficacy of it. Because now I think they're allowing subscribers, or YouTube channel content creators to create series out of their content, like episodes, like a streaming service. And YouTube, I think, is going to continually grow in that. But what we have done is, I've inspired based on my book. When it came out in 2018, I thought, how am I going to serve people? When I was going around speaking, giving talks all over the world about this, the high school, middle schoolers, grade schoolers, corporate offices, real estate offices, I was giving these talks, but I thought, I've really got to engage with people in a different way. So I started this 1 Minute in the Now series on YouTube. It was my very first platform.
Mm,
And it was just an inspiration to try to give them an idea what my life was about and giving them concepts about how, because the book, the Now-ist, is a spiritual memoir about how I found the present moment to be the most powerful part of our day, that we only spend a little bit of time in there. I mean, think about it. Throughout the day, you're usually caught up in what's called, linear or past future time, psychological time. The vertical is the now. So where those two cross, you got linear time, then you got, the vertical time where you literally have presence and you're thinking about nothing but what's happening in this moment. You have awareness. So in that crossification is the now. So I taught a lot of concepts about how to get in that center, that sweet spot of the present moment, and then how to use it to attract financial abundance, emotional, spiritual, social, abundance in your life, basically getting out of the linear time. And that has been my inspiration to start the YouTube channel.
gotcha. That's awesome. So, I'm biased, but I completely agree. I think YouTube is the best platform, and you can obviously see that as YouTube is huge now, from where it started. But so, would you say right now we're in that crosshair? The people watching this video, they're right now in that crosshair. Is that kind of how that works?
It works really in the sense that I use it as a technology, if you will. If you look at the cover of if you go to billymandarino.com, myname.com, you can look at all the Now-ist content, the videos, it links out to all my channels. But there's also the Now-ist symbol. And that is the crossification I'm talking about. It's a symbol. It looks like a cross, a crossification. I call it a technology because when you can take your awareness out of this linear past future time, and you can get in what I call the vertical, and the vertical is the present moment. You take yourself out of the linear time and you into that sweet spot of the present moment. It only happens when your awareness gets you kind of out of linear time. But to do that, you have to get this what's called vertical time or divine time or eternal time. And where those cross, that
Mm,
crosshair you talk about, that's the present moment. So when you look at the symbol, it kind of gives you this expression of, oh my gosh, my awareness is like an explosion of light. Like where that cross hits, a bunch of light explodes. It's kind of a technology. And when people learn to do that, I have a simple meditation. It takes 1 minute. It teaches people on my channel how to get out of this stressor that we've got, which is physical time, and do it quickly with these different modalities and techniques, living in the present moment as a Nowist.
gotcha. Cool. That's awesome. So this may be kind of ironic because you're in the now, but do you ever look into the future, like what your YouTube channel will be like in the future, or do you not even look into the future at all?
It's interesting you say that because what I've learned in teaching and being a spiritual teacher and teaching people all over the country, all over the world, literally, how to get out of future traveling. When you think of future
Mm,
traveling, it's a common occurrence, and it usually creates a lot of stress for people because they can be excited about the future, but mostly people I find in my works and travels are kind of stressed about the future. They're worrying about that job not happening or that relationship not happening because they're alone, or they're not really going to have the finances they wanted to whatever they what the next level of their life. And I find that future traveling gives people a lot of stress. So what I do,
mm,
which is interesting because it's kind of a mind bending concept where you're in the now, but you're using your imagination, which I think is one of the greatest gifts we've ever been given. And your content creators would appreciate this because all these videos come from your imagination. They come from what can I do next? How can I create something that's different and more inspiring and something that's going to get more views and subscribers? I get all that. But how I live and how I teach people to live is in this present moment. You're thinking from the end, not about the end. Seems like a really simple concept, but it's very distinct. About the end is, gosh, when I get to 1 million subscribers, right, I'm going to be happy. When I get videos that really transform people's life and I really become the successful content creator, I'm going to be happy. The reality is, with your imagination, you can do that right now. So what I do is think from the end, meaning in this moment, when I wake up in the bed in the morning, when I go to sleep at night, if I have an inspiration or a goal, if you will, I kind of don't believe in goals because I believe in the end it's already happening. So before I go to sleep, before I wake up, I imagine it's already done. I want to bring something into my life. So future traveling doesn't happen when you're in. Imagine, Spencer, if you're in this moment right now, and you want to bring something into your life, and with all five of your senses, you're imagining that it's happening right now. You wouldn't need to go in the future to experience it. You could experience it now.
mm,
It's kind of a
yeah.
spiritual quantum physics type of quantum entanglement type of teaching. But that's how I live. And living that way has brought avalanches of abundance into my life. And it's happened not by accident. It's happened because I really manifested, I believe, through this act of thinking from the end and not about the end. Does that make sense to you? I know it blows people's mind.
Yeah, no, I think that does make sense. I feel like, at least for me, I try to live that way. Sometimes it can be hard to always be living in the moment, but I feel like when I am living in the moment, I am more joyful. Like I feel happier because I'm actually experiencing it rather than like uh, I don't know what the word is, but wanting for the future.
Yes.
For the
Worrying, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Obsessing, kind of awfulizing about, oh gosh, I hope it happens, or if it doesn't happen, I'm going to feel this way. And then with the problem is, Spencer, they feel all those emotions now, but they're not helpful emotions that give you inspiration, give you kind of a point of feeling like, oh, I could really do this. It's kind of like, oh man, it's going to be so hard. Like usually the self talk is
yeah.
bad when you're worrying about it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's something that, like, YouTubers right now could apply to their lives. Everyone wants to have, like you said, 1 million subscribers or 1 million views or whatever, but you need to focus in the now on your videos and the audience you have now, so that way you can kind of reach out to them in the best way possible. So
And I know, Spencer, that's really the intention of your channel. I know it's going to be wildly successful because people are always looking for interviews like this, or what's Spencer teaching, or how can I get my channel to really grab hold and become something that's really making a difference in the world. But it happens without the stressing and the striving and the worrying. Or there's this famous song by, gosh, I forget the balance. It's a song called Sick Boy. And it's about, the chorus goes, feed yourself with my life's work. How many likes is my life worth? And I think about how
mm,
everybody's so concerned about how many likes is my life worth, right? Opposed to spending all your energy in the present moment thinking, well, how can I make the best content possible? How can I make the best video to serve the best people? But it comes from your inspiration. It doesn't come from the comparison of, I got to have a channel like this guy. You got to be your original self. And if I was going to give your subscribers and viewers and followers advice, it would be, in the present moment, use your imagination to create the best content from your authentic self. Don't compare yourself to somebody else. Because Mark Twain, have you ever heard of Mark Twain, Spencer?
yep.
He says,
Yeah.
comparison is the death of joy. I'm going to
Yes.
say it again because it's so good for your followers, your subscribers. Comparison is the death of joy. Meaning, how do you create if you're always trying to be like somebody else? Be the best you. You will make the best content because you're meant to make that content.
I think a lot of YouTubers, compare themselves to the biggest YouTubers out there. And if you look at that like linear timeline, those big YouTubers started way before you, and you started here, and you're trying to compare yourself to where they are now, and it just doesn't add up. So
Right. If you focus on that, it makes you disappointed. It makes you feel like you're less than, you lose your power. So that quote, I think about, actually, I have that quote on my calendar that comes up as an appointment every month, just to
oh yeah.
remind me, like, no, just be your best authentic self. Create from your heart and your inspiration. Don't try to be like another person you aspire to be like. Just be your best self, and then you will arrive by using that technique.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So you kind of mentioned, people always want to make the best content possible. So what is, I guess, your process for making the best content for you? How do you come up come up with ideas for videos? How do you actually make the videos, like film and edit and stuff like that? Why don't you tell us your process?
Okay, well, I'm blessed. I'll tell you a quick story. You have time for a quick story?
Yeah.
Okay, so I spent 5 years on my channel by myself. I've 2 years in a row. I did the 1 minute in the now, the 1 minute videos. Every day I did not miss. I post a video every day for 2 years.
Oh
Every
wow.
day I posted a 1 minute video, and I called it the 1 minute in the now. And it was really successful. A lot. I shared it out on all the different, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok really wasn't even going off back when I was doing this in 2017, 18. And it was just my inspiration. I would every day come up with an original video, and I would shoot it myself with my 4K camera. Sometimes I get clever and put an iPhone and do a cut, but I really just spoke to camera myself because I've been
Mhm.
teaching people for years. I've been a spiritual teacher for a decade. But when my book came out, I realized I really want to serve people. And YouTube and the Instagram and the social media platforms are the way to get it out if you are doing it well and people are
Yeah.
following you and you're building your tribe. Well, I just started myself. 5 years had gone by and I got kind of burned out. I was like, making all these 1 minute videos. I think I need to do longer form content. So I kind of prayed about it one night. And a week later, honest to God, the weirdest story. I'm a property manager and a realtor, and I had this client, and he lost his phone, and I found the phone, and
Oh.
I thought, oh my gosh, we got to get this back to him. So I get it to him, and he comes up to where I live, and he puts it in. He's in a motorcycle. He puts it in his back pocket, and he drives away. And I'm thinking he's going to lose his phone again. So he drives away, and I don't know. Later that day, I get a call from this person I didn't know saying, I see your number on the screen, and it's like he didn't lock his, and I could see it. So I called the last number on this phone. And it was me. So keep in mind, a week prior, I was saying, God, please send me someone to help me do longer form videos. Because I don't know how to really do the great videos with B-roll and great music and editing and make them really look important and like they're polished. So this guy shows up. I walk across the street because he happened to work across the street. I live in Santa Barbara, 100,000 people. He worked across the street from where I live. I walk over there and he gives me this guy's phone. I said, oh, his name is Alejo. I said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I gave him some money to thank him because this guy's he was a business owner. That phone, as everybody knows, your phone's your life. So
Mhm.
I say, well, what do you do? He goes, well, I work over here, but really what I want to do is I'm a videographer and I want to make content. I really want to make long form videos. Exactly what I had prayed for showed up a week later. And his name is
Wow.
Alejo Jerkovich. And he, for the last 4 years, has been my collaborator. He and I come up with videos together. And he understands my mission and the Now-ist teachings and how we can impact the world. So if you look at our videos, they're really polished. They have great music. They have B-roll. They have a kind of a 3-act arc to them. And he and I create these videos together.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Isn't it? It still blows my mind. Like, be careful what you ask for, because I think God, the universe, is listening. So,
Yeah.
make sure you're clear about what you want, and chances are you're going to get it.
Yeah, I don't think every YouTuber has the same experience with finding someone to work with them and help them make videos. So that's awesome.
You got to ask, though. I asked
Yeah,
for it, and I didn't have the doubt. I think doubt kills a lot of people. I find that your imagination is the sharpest knife to cut that fear and doubt out of your life. So your imagination is a very powerful place to live.
yeah. So you mentioned he's like a collaborator. So does he like, do you like come up with ideas together and then like, do you sit together in like the editing room to like make the video, or do you kind of like come up with the idea and then kind of give it to Alejo to kind of run the show?
Do you know what a synchronicity is?
I may have heard the word, but I'm not
You know who
exactly
Carl
sure.
Jung is? Carl Jung.
Mm-mm.
Carl Jung's a famous, one of the most famous psychologists in the world. I think he died like in
Oh,
the
okay.
30s. But he coined this phrase called synchronicity, which means random occurrences. People think they're happenstances and accidents and coincidences. They're just random. He says, no, he says, there's synchronicities. Like for me, I put the thought out that I wanted to attract someone to create videos with me and for me. And then it's not an accident that I dropped that this guy loses his phone. I gave it to him, and this guy brings me the phone with exactly what my wish was. It's called a synchronicity, a sign. I call them spiritual
Mm,
breadcrumbs. And so this synchronicity helped me create these videos. And so as Alejo and I come up with these ideas, I kind of let them just come to me, and they come to him. And he edits them all. He puts the music together, but I shoot him. And in the moment, I don't use a script. He gives me a concept and I just go. Because when
mm.
you've done this for long enough, Spencer, you just get good at it, and you quit
Yeah,
getting in your way by overthinking. I think if I could give advice to your subscribers would be, don't overthink so much. Inspiration over, your thinking mind is kind of the liar, and your inspiration, your gut and your intuition is the truth. So don't outthink yourself out of good ideas and feelings like this is what I'm really passionate about, but I don't know if people are going to watch it. You got to go with your inspiration. And that's what Alejo and I have evidently worked together. It's just that inspiration has helped us create great videos.
that's awesome. Cool. I'm always curious because I know every YouTuber has a different process. So that's really fascinating. Thanks for sharing that story. And speaking of stories, besides the one that you just shared, have you had any other, I guess, synchronicities? Is that the word?
Yeah,
um,
synchronicities.
Have you had any other synchronicities in terms of YouTube, like with a commenter or a subscriber or anything like that by chance?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So being a spiritual teacher, I kind of live in a mystical world, right? It's most of my followers are people that believe in the kind of thing that I'm talking about. That there's
Mhm.
this, objective world, but there's also this subjective attention we have, which I call living kind of in your imagination or living in your intuition. And living in that world, people constantly comment all the time on especially when I put a synchronicity video, like the Alejo video that I put up. I call him, as a joke, I call him Synchro Bro, like short for synchronicity. I call him Synchro Bro.
Nice.
That's my nickname for him now. And he's actually right now in New Zealand on a boat for 4 months, shooting whales as they migrate from
Wow.
New Zealand to Tahiti. They're going through all of the Pacific right now. So he sends me videos and updates. He's on this incredible boat because he's a filmmaker. He's also a documentary filmmaker. Super talented guy. He does commercials. Of course, he does my content, but he's high in demand because he's so talented, and he's kind of coming up in the world. But I've had people comment on videos because when I'll send out a story like I just sent you, like there's a
Mhm.
video on that exact. Our first video was that story together about how
Oh,
we
that's
met.
awesome.
The guy lost his phone, and then it was about synchronicity. How can you synchronistically think? There's a chapter in my book called Synchronistic Thinking, which is you can actually think your way into synchronicities if you have the eyes to see them, which might help your followers, because if you literally put this intention out, this idea out in the world, you're thinking, man, like for me, like I wanted to attract a content creator, a videographer, someone who was so much better at it than I was. A week later, it appeared. Well, maybe you're trying to, to attract more followers, more subscribers. Maybe you have a new idea that you can come up with. Don't be so clever that just lock into your phone. Let your own inspiration come through. And then people have commented on, well, I had a synchronicity. This happened. I was, trying to meet somebody, and I knew his name was like Johnny. Someone said, some mystics, hey, his name is Johnny. And then I see this school bus going by with like Johnny Swim on it. And they thought, hey, that was kind of random. I said, no, that's a sign like you're on the right track. It's like a wink from the universe. Just pay attention.
Mhm. That's awesome. Well, I've got just a couple more questions for you. This conversation has been great, and I hope our listeners and watchers kind of take something from this. But these last two questions are kind of more about advice from you, which you've already given some great advice. But the first question is from your start of YouTube to now, has there been any mistakes that you've made that you wish you would have known beforehand, that you've learned from, that you think our viewers could benefit from?
That is a great question. And I think what I have to say is from my heart, in the sense that if I knew this now, I think I've been on it for 7 years. I've been on my channel, started 7 years ago. If I would have known this now back then, because back then I really was caught up, even in a spiritual teaching community, caught up in I had to be the next Eckhart Tolle, the next Wayne Dyer, the next Deepak Chopra. Like I felt like my stuff is good. Why is it not? Why do I have 200 subscribers after like 4 years? And I'm putting out all this content, working so hard. And I really was working from a place of comparison. I was. The right comparison's the death of joy. I was working from a place of, man, the video got like 20 views. Like, it's amazing. I've taught this to people in person. It was one of the most powerful concepts that I taught in an individual coaching session, yet it just didn't land. And I learned back then, I learned now what I was missing back then. Is I didn't understand SEO. I didn't understand tags. I didn't understand thumbnails, how important a thumbnail is. Like I had these terrible graphics and no one could read them. Like simple fundamentals that everybody who's a YouTuber knows now, that the algorithm, it's science, not art. Right. And I thought, well, my art and inspiration is good enough, but the algorithm won't show the world your art and your inspirational teachings if you don't play at their game, at their level. You understand that, obviously.
Yeah.
Spencer. But if I knew that now, I wouldn't have brought the content out the way I did. I would have been more strategic, clever. I would understand. I now understand the algorithm. Alejo's great at it. And just kind of ignorant to it. I just went into it without knowing that you can't just jump on a platform and expect it's just going to blow up. The algorithm will not, the algorithm you can have the best video in the world and it won't get shown if it doesn't have the right optimization.
The right packaging.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about this on the podcast, and it's arguable that the thumbnail and the title are the most important thing, because that's what gets them in the door to watching your video. And then hopefully they watch your video and like it enough that they'll subscribe and yada, 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 continue from there.
It's frustrating though, isn't it? Because like you really want to get on this amazing platform, but there's so much competition for those eyeballs and for people's attention that it's kind of a competition in a strange way. Once again, when I start feeling that way, I don't create the same kind of content I would if I would just think about what am I, from my authentic, inspired self, what do I want to share in this platform? What do I want to share with the world? Instead of thinking, how clever can I be to try and get this many views? But are you really adding value? Like whoever adds the most value wins.
Yeah, we've also talked about this on the podcast, and those who are more passionate about the content they're creating are more successful. Whereas like if you're just making the videos because you want to get views and make money, like it's not going to happen.
They call that the vanity metric, right? The vanity metric.
Yeah. And people like make really what's the word? Clickbait titles and thumbnails, even though it may not really apply to the video. So like you said, that's not really adding value.
And Spencer, I don't know about you, but the only way I've learned to add value is if I'm being my full authentic self, if I'm coming up with something that has affected my life, or I've served somebody with this concept or this video or this topic. And if I'm coming from a place of how can I serve, not what's in it for me, the videos are always more successful.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. With this podcast, we do edit it a little bit, but for the most part, we leave pretty much everything in it. So that way people can see really like the authentic YouTubers behind their videos, and their experiences. So yeah, I've got one more question for you. And this is one we ask all of our guests, and it's about YouTube and myths. Are there any myths about YouTube that you think need to be busted? Any misconceptions out there?
I think the misconception is people think that it's easy and that, everybody's doing it, so I could do that, or like I can make better videos than that. But they don't go in with being informed. I believe in information, but not inundation. A lot of people get inundated and they just get overwhelmed, even though they have a wonderful idea or concept or teaching or service to people or great content where it's funny, but they just get caught up and they got in the weeds of like, wow, it seems so complex. And it's not that difficult, but the problem is you haven't informed yourself. Don't inform yourself by the basics. I kind of went in it with my eyes not completely wide open and aware of what the platform is. You should definitely, follow people like you. Everything on you. I don't know about you, but when you need to find something, I usually look to YouTube as the most powerful search engine
Hmm.
for how-tos, videos about anything, but also it's just so creative and entertaining. And I think it's going to take over a lot of the other platforms as they roll out this episodic type of, these subscribes of episodes of their seasons. And I have so many videos. I think I have 570 videos or something. I could easily make these into seasons. So maybe as AI evolves, it'll probably have this algorithm that's going to help you do that easily.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. Actually, it just automatically kind of like, I don't know, makes a playlist or
Right.
something.
I can just put in a topic. Like, I'm going to teach about getting out of stress, living in the present moment through breath. It could scrub all my videos and then package them into a 45-minute episode, edit, cut it, put it together, and then put it out and create a thumbnail and throw it out. That's coming.
That would be crazy.
That's coming.
That's awesome. So, well, Billy, thanks for being on the show. Your channel, remind me, it's the Now-ist?
So it's Billy Mandarino, the Now-ist. So it's
Gotcha.
my
Okay.
name and the Now-ist. Billy Mandarino, the Now-ist. Or just usually if you look up the Now-ist on anything, it's going to point back to my website, which is billymandarino.com. That, of course, my website, my main website, links out to all my social. But on YouTube, yeah, it's Billy Mandarino, the Now-ist.
Gotcha. And you're on all of the major social media
TikTok,
platforms.
Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, yeah, all of them.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, to our listeners and watchers, make sure to check out Billy on all of his platforms. And thanks for checking out this episode. We hope that you found it helpful for your own channel. And if you'd like to check out more, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you need help with any videos, make sure to check us out at creatorlux.com. And we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, Spencer. You're the best, brother.